Hello, my name's Artemis. Is it me, or does it feel like the art of discussion is entirely fucking dead? It seems like you can't actually reason with anybody these days. It all just devolves into a shouting match of, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm big, you're small, I'm good, you're a bitch. And honestly, that doesn't seem to be getting us anywhere. In fact, it's turning us into a bunch of hateful, nasty bastards who are completely closed off to new information, and I don't think we should be doing that. In fact, I think we should be finding a better way to actually debate these people. Otherwise, shit's just gonna get worse, and I think I've got a way to do that. And it's called shutting the fuck up. Let's explain it. So one of the first major problems we got is a very us versus them mentality. We have segregated ourselves away into our little teams. It doesn't really matter what someone believes, it just matters what color they are. Are they blue or are they red? It's like sports. The points are made up and the system's fucking broken. And as soon as you see that someone is on the opposite side as you can't even see them as human anymore. You just see them as someone who is always wrong, always needs to be argued with. They are inherently bad and you are inherently good. And if that doesn't completely shut down any possibility of empathy and understanding between you, I don't know what does. Now, I totally get it. It does come from a place of really high sense of justice. It comes from a place of survivalism, really. Because the things that we're arguing about, the things that we're debating, and the disparity between what they believe and what you believe can be life or death. It can be the right to live your life as you are and how you want to live it. And that's dangerous. That's not good. Obviously, you want to be able to say to these people, no, you are wrong. How dare you do these things? But the more you start to see them as wrong, and the more you start to see them as anti-natural and a danger to you and how you live, the more they start to present as a threat to you, threat to society. And you start thinking that maybe they'd be better off not in society. And it's a very dangerous mindset to get into, because essentially you become just as bad as them. You want them removed. You want them to not have a say in how you live your life, the same way they don't want you saying how they live theirs. Pretty soon things get very extremist and you become a very hateful person who wants things to happen that perhaps shouldn't. Don't lie and say that you don't see this on both sides, because you do. Now, one of the key things you need to remember is that all of this is deliberate, it is designed, and it is broken as fuck. You are the enemy just as much as they are the enemy to you. You have been brainwashed. You are part of the deep state. You believe in false figures and fake science and fake news, and this is how they're going to see it. Logic, statistics, facts, studies are not going to work because they think that you're brainwashed. Because it's the same thing that you think about them, that they've been drawn in by this cult or some shit. You can't argue with that. You just can't. This is the way the system is designed, because they need to keep it left versus right, so it doesn't become down versus up. And this is the big problem. We are working in a system where it's not about what your party can do for you, it's what your party can do against the people that you don't like. They don't even really care if they get fucked over, as long as you get fucked over as well, and maybe just a little bit worse than they did. That's the kind of mentality that you're appealing to. And do you really think that shouting and screaming and telling them that they are wrong and bad is going to change their mind and change anything about this? Or is it just going to entrench them even further into their views? So what exactly are you supposed to do in this situation? I've told you what you shouldn't do. What should you do? Well, you have to do something hard. And that's accept that these people are human, and that they are the same as you, and that they deserve the same rights, liberty, freedom, and life that you do, and that they ultimately are scared, and that their thinking has been warped by this fear. So how do you combat that? Well, you ask questions. You don't argue. You can't argue with these people, because arguing is what they're built for. You get them to question their beliefs. You make them explain it. You make them tell you what they believe and why, because then it starts poking holes in these things. Let me give you some examples. You've got to appeal to their humanity with questions such as, if your child turned out to be everything that you hate and fear in this world, would you still love them? Make them see whether their beliefs are strong enough to override their familial bond. Ask them the question of what freedom actually means to them. Don't let them use slogans. What exactly do they want freedom to look like? Because you can very easily make them realize that actually they do believe in bodily autonomy and the government not having a say in what you do with your body. And suddenly they're pro-trans, aren't they? You've got to clear these brainwashed propagandic slogans so that they can actually figure out what exactly they believe and align with that. Ask them things like, if you hadn't been born here, would you still believe this? If they're on the other side of the equation, would they still believe that what they currently feel is correct? Well, they're only feeling that because it's from a position of privilege, because it doesn't actually affect them. If your side was to win today and get absolute power, What would it look like if I disagreed with you? Make them understand how scary it is to have a dictatorship in place, because that's what they're going to describe. On top of that, ask them how they would feel if the other side won, got absolute power, and treated them exactly how they have treated everybody else. Force them to have that empathy. Ask if they've ever changed their mind about something big, how they came to do it, what made them change their minds. See that their thinking might not be as inflexible as perhaps they thought. And then the really big one that will hopefully plant a seed and make them really think about what they're being told. If the people you trust were lying to you, how would you know? They won't be able to answer that one, and it will keep them up at night. You have to question their beliefs and make them explain it, because the more they explain these things, the more they're going to portray that actually they agree with you on some things, and actually freedom is a universal thing that most people can agree on, and it doesn't involve taking away other people's rights. The only way you get to do this is by stopping shouting and starting to ask. You got to do those things. Ultimately, I just want people to stop point scoring. Ultimately, I feel like we should stop just trying to slam dunk on these people, because there is no invisible audience. There's nobody that's going to look at what you said and be like, you know what? They win this round. It just doesn't happen. We need to be better. We need to come from a place of understanding and empathy and actually figure out that, oh, maybe they're humans just like me, and maybe they should be related back to their humanity, because that's how we progress forward as a species. I understand you want to punish. I understand you want revenge, but that doesn't get you what you want. It just makes shit worse. We need to be better. But there we go, there's my 2 cents on this entire thing. If you enjoyed this video, there's a bunch of ways that you can help support, and look at that, I changed the graphic up so it's not just in your face when I'm making a very serious point. There is, of course, the Patreon as well, which would just be lovely because it helps pay our bills, and I would appreciate the ever-living fuck out of you. But thank you very much for watching. I guess that is the end of this video. I'm done. Bye.